I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and then we are going to go through some questions that I have. And if anybody in the audience has a question, please just raise your hand. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your questions also. So, my name's Berne. Again, I'm from Vermont. We made, with my friend Greg, we made the film Best Day Ever, and I'm going to let Greg tell you a little bit about that film. So if everybody here could just tell people your name, where you're from, and just a quick overview of your film, because most of the people here haven't seen these films yet.
Hi everyone, I'm Greg Durso. I am a part of the cast of Best Day Ever. Our film is really about the power of community, the importance of inclusion in outdoor recreation and normalizing outdoor recreation by creating the first adaptive trail system kind of in the country, building from the ground up. So I'm super excited for everyone to see it and kind of talk about why that's so important for us and what we're trying to do here, and from Vermont as well.
There's a second one, just so we know.
All right. Hey, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Rue, like the Kanga. I am from Boulder. I live in Boulder now. I'm from Washington State originally. And my film's called Beyond the Gates, and it is about a girl with an intellectual disability. I kind of follow her and her family and her teammates as they train for the Special Olympic Winter Games in Colorado, which made me thinking, like, wow, that sounds like a big deal. Paralympic Games and Special Olympics are like kind of a little bit of a different thing. So Special Olympics is giving kids and people the opportunity to compete in sports. Paralympics is like kind of what you see on TV with the Olympics. So Special Olympics is like a little more hokey and very more wholesome. Less competitive.
Hello? Hello?
Press and hold it.
Hello? Hi, my name is Logan McCollough. I am a Chattanooga local. Been here for about 15 years. I actually just graduated from UTC last month. And I'll let their other guys talk about the film.
What up, guys? I'm Calvin Serban, and I am also a local here from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we have our film, Shut Up Legs. We're skiing Bama. This is a cycling adventure film where we biked 50 miles from downtown Chattanooga over to the largest ski resort in Alabama. And I'll just leave it at that.
The only thing I'll add to that is that it was a good time. My name is Zach, and I've been living here in Chattanooga for the past 4 years for school. I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina, and just love going on adventures with Calvin and Logan.
So, Calvin, Zach, Logan, why did your film need to be made? Like, why does this film exist?
I think I really just wanted to showcase, like, the fun stuff that you can do even down here in the Southeast. Like, it doesn't really matter, like, you don't have to travel all the way far to, I don't know, Whistler to be able to do some crazy skiing and have a good time. Like, you can still find an adventure in your back door.
Yeah, kind of second off that, it's not really about the places that you live, it's how you interact with that place. And one of the joys of moving to Chattanooga was getting into some really cool activities, got into cycling, whitewater kayaking, rock climbing, and just to be able to be like, hey, what do you guys want to do for the weekend? And oh shoot, let's just wake up, go for a bike ride, go skiing, and go to class the next day. Like, that's something that's unique to this place, and that's all over the place, and we just love local adventure.
Rue, how do you, this I think is your 7th movie at this film festival?
Yeah, I don't know, Steve. I don't know. Oh my God. I make a lot of videos.
How do you know when a story is the right story for a movie? Because there's a lot of stories in the world, you do a lot of commercial work. How do you know when a story, what grabs you about a story that makes it, where you want to make it your own story?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think for me, storytelling is always a very personal experience for me. When I go out to make these documentaries, I have to feel some sort of emotional investment with the character. I think ultimately a lot of these projects, with your outdoor adventures and with your films, like, I think what somebody goes through is like what inspires us to go out and experience the outdoors for ourselves. Like, we see people biking and skiing and biking and climbing and surfing and doing all these activities. But I think like really what makes us resonate with films is like the character arc and how we can see people transform through these outdoor adventures. And so for me, meeting people before they go have this transformation, something I'm always like really excited about, and I find that I get this like little like personal spark of like I'm so motivated to just see what happens, is somebody who like wants something and has to overcome something to get it. So I've made films about like going on surf adventures in Scotland where you're like, there's no waves, there's no way it's gonna work, but we have to overcome like all these different barriers to have this really great adventure and bond our friendship, right? Like we have to go through building a trail system that doesn't exist, and like what if it doesn't work, what if we don't get the funding, there's so many unknowns. And I think for me, like there's always this like personal little draw of like I have to know what happens, and I have to be involved in like holding up a mirror to whatever that transformation is. Maybe it's grandiose and amazing, and maybe it's like something really small of like, you know, and now I put my phone down every Saturday and I have a screen-free Saturday because of this huge transformation I did. And sometimes it's small and sometimes it's big, but I think for me it's these like little personal, emotional moments that I see in somebody is what like inspires me to want to make these documentaries about them.
Very cool.
Greg, Best Day Ever is a little bit different from other movies in that we were telling our own story, we weren't telling somebody else's story. So most films, you have somebody who's a professional filmmaker and they identify a great story, like Rue was just talking about, and then they go out and they pursue that story, follow that character. You are the character, I am the character. Like, will you talk about what it's like to make a movie telling your own story and how maybe that's different from what other people have done?
Yeah, it's super interesting. I mean, it's about you and your life, and I think, you know, if someone came up to you and said, we want to make a movie about you, and you'd be pretty cautious about it, what that actually feels like for you. So I think your first thing is to take a step back and think that, do people want to see a movie about me or yourself? But if you're passionate about things and you're super excited about what you do, it's fun to share those things, and I'm super passionate about what I do in the sports community. And so for me to have a story told about that, it was fun to watch it, you know, from my eyes, to see myself on screen and to see everyone else and see my community, my family, my friends, everyone that's part of my life. And it's so fascinating to be able to tell that story with someone and the filmmakers that make it into that story. So I'm just so proud to be able to have a story that is me. And I always say that in my life, the best thing you can do is always be you, right? And I think that's how I've gotten past my injuries of paraplegic for the last 17 years. It's been me. And so it's just really cool to have that opportunity to be with everyone and showcase that. And I'm really excited for everyone to kind of see what that looks like tonight.
Will you talk a little bit about your work and kind of, because the movie doesn't dive into that deeply, but I think it could be interesting for folks here to know that.
So I work for a national nonprofit called the Kelly Rush Foundation. We're based out of Vermont, but we help people with spinal cord injuries live their best active lifestyles by providing adaptive sports grants for adaptive sports equipment. As you'll see, these adaptive mountain bikes actually in the theater that Catalyst Sports has brought. Those bikes are anywhere between $15,000 and $25,000, right? So the barrier to entry into any adaptive sport is super high, especially mountain biking. So for us, our organization, to be able to give grants for that is super important, but we also create super amazing opportunities around the country, the adaptive sports camps and events. And over the last 20 years, we've given out over $7 million and 2,500 grants to people with spinal cord injuries around the world to live the life that they want to be able to have that normally we wouldn't be able to have because of that.
You guys can clap right there if you want. That's pretty impressive. Rue, you seem, when you're working on your own time, to also be making films that focus on different types of disabilities. Can you tell me a little bit about what your connection is with disability and why is that a thread through your movies?
Yeah, I mean, very similar. Like, we have an amazing nonprofit near Boulder called Ignite Adaptive Sports, and Ignite does so much work to help people from all walks of life get outside and enjoy winter sports. And I first met someone from the nonprofit, and I I met him on the ski lift, and I was like, hey, tell me about sit skiing, like that looks pretty fun and interesting. And yeah, we just started talking and ended up making a film about it. So I was like, hey, it seems like filmmaking is a great way to get people connected to what you're doing. And that was kind of my first experience, like working with somebody with a disability from like the filmmaking perspective. And I was like, wow, this is really fun. And these stories need to be told because like, I think the more we can include people of all walks of life, like disability, racially, social, like economically, like we have all sorts of opportunities to increase like the diversity of people that we interact with. And like, I think the more types of people we interact with, like the more enriched our lives become. And so for me, living in Boulder, which isn't very diverse racially, I was like, okay, this is great. This is an opportunity for maybe me to enter into this type of community that I think deserves to be, I don't know, shown in a little bit more of an empathetic way and less of like a tokenizing way. I think it's really easy for filmmakers to tell these sorts of stories. I was like, this is so inspiring, and this is so motivating us to just do things. And I think that's really important, but I also think it's important to recognize like, hey, these are people just like us that have passions that love to get outside as well. And I think the more we can just see what we have in common and less see what we have, like, the less we can see the differences and the more we can see the similarities, like, I think the easier it will be to include people of all walks of life in our friendships and our relationships. And so yeah, that was, I think, what drew me to telling stories more about like adaptive sports. And yeah, I think I'm excited to just like see, I don't know, as filmmaking in the outdoor industry develops, like we're just seeing more opportunities for people of all walks of life to enter and do the things that we all love to do.
Calvin, Zach, and Logan, I haven't forgotten you, but I have one more quick question for Greg, and then I'm coming to you. Greg, what changes when people with disabilities are everywhere and because there's access?
Yeah, exactly. To kind of Ruth's point there, it's like you want to kind of normalize outdoor recreation, right? You shouldn't be inspired by our daily tasks of being out there, going to the grocery store because I'm in a wheelchair. You should be inspired by how I want to create change in our community. That's how you'd be inspired by anyone else in your community, right? And so to be able to get more access and create more inclusive recreation and normalize any recreation with any minority group or disability group is super huge. So to be able to go out there and feel like you're part of a community like anyone else is, and I'm living just a normal style of ability is huge, and something we strive for and something that we don't get to have. So it's just super important, and it's amazing to have the right to help tell those stories, other people to tell those stories that are out there because they're just not being told.
Thank you. Calvin, I was super impressed. I got to see your film earlier today, and I was just super impressed with your edit. Can you tell me about how you got into filmmaking and like you did such a great job with bringing telling a story, but also making it like laugh out loud, funny at times. And that I feel like is a true art. Like a lot of people miss that mark. So tell me how to get into filmmaking and like kind of how you're developing your voice. This is your second film, right?
Second film, yeah, here.
Great.
Yeah. I would say, I've just grown up playing around with cameras. When I was like about 8 or 10 years old, I'd grab my parents' like little handy like camcorder, and I would like just be like vlogging, filming myself, not really knowing what in the world I was doing. In middle school and high school, I was a class historian, so I was always like documenting like the year and stuff like that. And I just always enjoyed doing like kind of vlog styled content. So I think that's where kind of that funny kind of editing aspect of me came through this film at least. So yeah.
What's next for you? Like you've made 2 shorts. Like do you aspire to make a feature film? Are you just having a great time doing shorts? Do you have another project on the horizon?
I think right now, definitely doing a feature would be pretty cool in the future. It's not really on my radar at the moment. I work currently at American Bicycle Group in downtown Chattanooga here, and that's where, shout out to Lightspeed, they were able to give us some bikes to be able to do this fun little project. But actually through them, one of their brands is Quintana Roo Tribe. And I have never done an Ironman. I'm not a triathlete at all. I don't know what I'm doing in the water. So that is the next project is I'm actually shooting kind of a bi-weekly kind of vlog series through Quintana Roo of kind of going through my journey and another coworker's journey of doing a 70.3 Ironman.
Awesome.
Episode 1 was really good.
Talk to Greg. He's got some experience.
I've done a full Ironman there. It's super fun though, so yeah, get after it.
I did a half, but I quit before the run.
I did a half and it was not fun.
Don't tell me that.
Calvin swimming is kind of a very long way.
Zach, you guys, or Logan, you guys filmed, like a big part of this film was this Alabama ski area. Like who in this room knew that Alabama had a ski area? Okay, you must be from around here. Who has skied at that Alabama ski area? All right. Can you, for those of us who have not, can you tell us a little bit about that ski area? Like, I loved that, I loved it.
Yeah, so Calvin was actually the first person to tell me about the existence of this place. And we kind of had it on our radar, it was like 2 years ago, we kind of started talking about it. And then, I don't know if you guys were here a couple years ago when Matt Schweiker had his film, but after that I was in his garage and we were like talking. I'm like, hey, have you been to this Ski Bama Mentone thing? He was like, yeah, it's like really cool. Like all of it will just make you laugh when you show up. I'm like, all right, sounds good. So Calvin and I did a little scouting mission, whatever that snow day when it snowed here a bunch last year. I guess it was like a week ago from something like that, a year ago.
Yeah.
But anyways, we showed up there and we just couldn't stop laughing for 5 hours. I mean, it was just nonstop, just people watching. Like there were people getting stuck in the mud and like in their trucks right next door. It's just pond water they're spraying on the hill. It's hilarious. But it's like such a good time. And I think when we went that first time, we're like, oh, this is going to be just such a great time to go bike out here and have a blast. So it's one of a kind.
And if I can add something. And the people there are just like so welcoming. I mean, when we got there, they were like asking Zach some questions about like, oh, like what's your boot size, whatever. And Zach already like brought his like really nice boots to put on these skis that they had there. And then Zach's like, oh yeah, let me help out with you guys. So he's like back there like helping them do stuff. And so I don't know, it was just like it felt like a small little like family. Like it just kind of like welcomed us. So yeah.
And I feel like that's a theme of all three of these movies is community and how important community is. Greg, you want to talk about community?
Yeah, I think community for me is the most important thing ever. Right? After my injury 17 years ago, you know how to be yourself, but you also need people around you for that support. So for people that are comfortable and understand what that looks like, it's super huge. And I moved to Vermont 7 years ago, not knowing what I would do, but I met a group of friends and I met Berne and I met so many amazing people. The mountain bike community has been so amazing to me. I've been part of the ski community, like I said, I've done an Ironman, so I've been part of that. But the mountain bike community really in Vermont is really what has taken off, and we've had all these people help build this trail system that, I never in my wildest dreams thought we'd ever be able to do. So having that community be there to support me and my fellow adaptive community is so cool. And even after my injury, I always said, God, you never find me coming out of a minivan with anyone else in a wheelchair. I was so naive to the disability world. And now it's literally my entire life is the adaptive community, and I would come out of a minivan with as many people in a wheelchair we could stick in it. And so my view has changed so much, and I'm so proud of our community, and I love our community, and I'd love to introduce you to more of the folks in our community in our movie tonight.
Rue, how has making films with a disability theme changed you?
Yeah, I think for me, being a part of a community that is first off like very welcoming and very supportive, I think has like given me actually a lot of confidence. And maybe that's like not the answer that like I actually would have expected when I was thinking about this a few days ago, but like I think when you're given a group of people that are excited to try new things. They're okay with like failing at new things. And like when you're given a safe space to fail, you can then like learn from that failure in like a supportive and healthy environment and like grow to become a better person. And I think for me, like my first adaptive film came like, I think it was like, I was a full-time freelancer as a filmmaker for 2 years, and then I made my first adaptive sports film. And now it's been like, I've been fully like a freelance director for 7 years now, and like just being able to like experiment with different filmmaking techniques and being able to like, I don't know, like go to my first film festival and try it on, and then like win my first film festival and try that on, and like have all of these experiences and then go back to all these people that like care about me for me and not care about me because of the types of films that I make or the types of achievements that I've had or the types of experiences that I've had. They really just are wanting to get to know me and support me in whatever I'm trying to do. I think being in a community that like allows people to be fully themselves is like a really healthy environment to be in, and I'm just really grateful for nonprofits and communities all over, adaptive sports or not, that exist in that way. And I think for me, like I'm definitely a better person because of these filmmaking experiences I've had and these communities that I've been a part of. And like as a part of like making these films, like I mean I'm a able-bodied straight white dude, you know, like I have a lot of differences with a lot of the people that I film from all walks of life, and like for me being able to like put myself in different environments and shoes of trying out these sorts of things. Like when I made, not this ski film, but the ski film Unseen Peaks, it won Best Short Film here last year. It was about a blind skier and ice climber using the outdoors to like find freedom after experiencing a lot of trauma because of her blindness. And so we went skiing and she's blind and can't see, and I was like, you know, I am curious what that's like because I think it'll change how I make the film and how I edit and how I interact with her on the mountain. So like one of the Ignite adaptive sports guides like came out with me and like guided me through. I wore like blacked out goggles and was like skiing down the mountain, and I was like, I'm flying, this is crazy, oh my gosh. And then he's like, Ruth, take off your goggles. So I took off my goggles and I was going like 1 mile an hour. Okay, that's what that experience will be like. All right, sweet. So yeah, I just am really grateful overall for all the experiences that I've had and where filmmaking has taken me. I think what matters most about filmmaking for me is like the people I get to meet and the places I get to experience, and I think these adaptive sports documentaries are the exact same for me in that sense.
Any questions from the audience? I can keep going, but I'd love to, if anybody here has questions, we'd love to answer your questions. Steve.
Rudy, you've been nominated for an Emmy for your film that won the Best Short Film last year, won our famous Logie. So which is a better honor? Yes.
That's not a fair question, Steve.
Well, I won this and I got nominated there, so I didn't walk away with a trophy. So I got a Logie at home. So definitely this. I will say definitely this is better than the Emmy. Yeah, 2 Emmy nominations and no victories, but I got a Look Out Wild victory. So you know, this place is the best.
Anybody else have questions? Greg, you were both an associate producer and a character in Best Day Ever, so you had some say in what was included. What were the most important things to you to make sure were in that movie?
Yeah, it's just great to have that power sometimes to do that. But for me, I was obviously building this adaptive shell system from the ground up, which doesn't exist like anywhere else in the world, right? So what does that mean? How do we do that? And so for me, like, again, kind of the community piece is so big. Just all kinds of different adaptive bikes that are out there, depending on like your level of injury and your ability to use that bike, right? And so for building this trail system, it kind of needs to be for everyone. So really trying to showcase all the different adaptive bikes that are out there and making sure that the trail system accommodates all that. And these different adaptive bikes do a lot of different things. Some are wider than others, some have longer lengths or swing weight and they turn differently. So to be able to create a trail system that all these bikes can work on and welcome on was really important to me, not just showcasing one bike or what it does, it's that we could all ride that, and that was really super important to me. also to make these trails is to get the trail builders in these adaptive bikes so they can understand all my nitpickiness and all the nuances that were going on there and why I'm going to change this by an inch or two, move this here or there. And there's so much that goes into it and that works that way. And right, as someone that doesn't have disability and being in those bikes, it changes and let them understand like, how these bikes work for us and what that does. That's super important for them to truly understand how it's going to go. And the other part is too, people think about adaptive trails, they think of ADA, and they think we're just like dumbing the trails down. And that's the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. We want that same experience that you have out there. So when we're creating A lines or pro lines or big lines that are out there, we want to make sure that all of those lines and trails actually work for adaptive bikes too. So there's no just these go around easy lines. Like our bikes can physically go down in every part of this trail system, which is different than everywhere else. Yes, there's still RB lines for people to go around, but that's a skill set thing and not necessarily that. So it was so important to have that. It's something that also just doesn't exist anywhere else, to have the ability to take your bike anywhere on that trail system and to really create something that's so unique and makes us gain progression with everyone else as well. So that was super huge.
Calvin, Zach, and Logan. It sounds like you guys go on a lot of adventures together and have a lot of fun. What makes your like fun day out with your friends worthy of making into a movie? Like, because I'm sure there's plenty of adventures you have that are not. So what differentiates the other ones, and how do you, like, what are the elements that need to be there for it to be a successful movie?
Oh, sure. Okay. I think for me, well, a classic adventure is usually like it's got to come just out of random. It's usually Friday night. Hey, tomorrow you guys want to go whitewater raft on the Ocoee after, or stuff like that. Sometimes we'll actually plan something out. You guys did north of Norway. That was sick. And we'll do some mountain bike trips that are like multi-day sometimes. But usually it's the most random things, and usually they end at a good little bite to eat. Usually somewhere around here, whether that's pizza or a burger or Mr. Burrito Bowl, or is that what it's called? Yeah, okay. But yeah, usually just good times, and it's usually pretty random. But we always like trying places we haven't been before. So some new gravel route or some new trail system, some new place, some new ski hill.
So Calvin, are you just filming everything all the time, and then you're like, ooh, I think we got something?
I will say I do bring my camera around a lot. I'll say like a lot of the stuff has been iPhone clips, usually with most adventures that I've done, especially these crazy gravel routes that I'll do here locally. Specifically though, like with a project that I think I'll have in mind that I'm like, oh yes, this is a good story, it's usually just something that's gotta be very unique. So like for me, like this ski in Alabama was just like so random to me, and I was like, I gotta share this story to like other people around besides the Southeast. And so I guess that's kind of how I come up with different ideas for films.
Awesome. I've got one more question, unless any from the audience. Okay, I got one more for Rue. I haven't seen all of your films, so I don't know if all of your films are shorts. The two that I watched most recently are shorts. Tell me about like making a short versus making a feature, why you tend in that direction. Like obviously some of the stories you're telling are complex, and why trend towards short instead of feature?
Yeah. Features are hard. No, I think for me, ultimately, like when we resonate with a story and a story is like really good, we want it to be longer, right? Like that's what we associate with, like, oh, that was so good. Like I wish we had more time to enjoy that story or that film or that experience or whatever. But my mom always said growing up, like, leave while you're having fun. And I think with shorts, there can be really complex storylines that happen. You can see a character develop through really fulfilling experiences. And I think now more than ever, I think respecting people's time is something I actually think a lot about as a filmmaker. I, like all of you, like getting outside. And I think screens are sometimes can be a barrier to that. And not to like get on a soapbox about like, oh, we should all get off our phones all the time. You know, I just think a lot of us really are facing like some pretty addictive social media technologies that keep us on our phones. And for me, if I can be creating a piece of art or a film or something that you can resonate with in a short amount of time, it inspires you to go get outside. You put your phone down, or you close your laptop, or you turn off your TV, and then you go get outside. Like that for me is a win. And so I think when it comes to like making these shorts and these stories, I'm like, yes, go like unwind at the end of the day, watch one of my 10 to 15 minute documentaries, get inspired to go do something, and then like go make dinner with your family, or go like out on an adventure with your friends and get out and like do something. And I think for me, like features are a lot of work, they're a lot of time, and I think just because it's an hour and a half doesn't necessarily mean your story is worth all of that time. And so for me, I just get excited about the idea of like, let me give somebody like a really quick, like motivational, inspirational, actionable story that they can then remember. And it's not just 20 seconds that they're looking at a screen, but they can remember this story, can stick with them, and then they can be motivated to like put the screens down and go outside. That's a lot of pressure for my films.
Calvin, Zach, Logan, Rude, Greg, thank you so much. We hope you can come out tonight and watch Beyond the Gates, Shut Up Legs, we're skiing Bama, and Best Day Ever. All three films are playing tonight at the Lookout Wild Film Festival just up the hill, and we hope we see you there.
And come talk to us if you have questions too.
100%. Thank you.
I want to go back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that. But I don't have like.
I can't wait. I have to do it in my head.
If you can figure it out, I'll give you $20.